Great day, everyone. This is Dr. AJ, the wifepreneur. Thank you for sharing with me and coming to my channel. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I am a chiropractor. I'm also a 8-year veteran in college as a college professor. And I was in college 12 years. Yes, 12 years after high school. And so it's very important to me that high school students that are about to enter into college with their parents and college students are adequately prepared for what's expected or giving steps to be successful in college. And so this video is about how to pick a college. Most students, I'll say about half of students that are in their junior and senior year are preparing or looking forward to going to college, especially if you have great grades and you are looking to have a wonderful career. You are looking at college. So I want to give you six tips on how to pick a college. Now, the first tip about picking a college, you want to pick a college, one that's based. Now, these criteria, you should have at least 4 or 5 of these criteria or tips into your picking colleges. So the first one, does it have an occupation related program? For example, when I went to college, I started out at Kentucky State University. One of the reasons that I was able to pick that school is because it had a great science program to get me prepared to go to medical school. I knew back in high school, ever since about 7th grade, that I wanted to be a doctor. And so I looked at and picked schools or applied to colleges that had programs to help me get on that path to being a physician. For example, they have a lot of colleges now that offer physical therapy programs, pre-physical therapy programs, or biochemistry programs, or pre-med programs, or pre-pharmacy. Always look for programs first. Don't look at finances first. First, look at programs that are related to the occupation you want to go in. Secondly, look at finances. Look at what can you be afford. Now, we're going to be honest. Like most people, 95% of people cannot afford to pay their college tuition. And so you want to look what would be affordable to you as far as looking in the future to how much you want to pay back of those loans that you're going to have to take out for college. My suggestion to you is to, as you go and get your list about colleges, that you also consider one of those colleges being a local community college. If that local community college has that occupation related program, start out at a community college because you will save tremendously on paying back that financial aid. Thirdly, you want to look at student to teacher ratio. The school that I started out at Kentucky State University, my biology class we had about 75 people in that class. We sat in the auditorium. It wasn't a classroom. It was an actual auditorium. You see my background here. And that is intimidating to maybe half of high school students, especially if you're a high school student like me. I was sheltered. My parents didn't let me do too much. I had five main friends, and those are the ones I was able to be with on the weekend. We went to church together. We hung out, and that was it. I didn't hang out too much with people that I went to school with. I was very sheltered. So, being in a big crowd or being in a big school with students in a class can intimidate you, and that can bring down your successfulness in the class. So student to teacher ratio, let's say there's the maximum class may be 20 to 25 people. If you go to a big university, expect more than 50 people in your class. And so if you know you're not a person that can do well in bigger classes, then you should consider choosing a college or university that has smarter classes. Because when you go to bigger classes, more than likely, when you go to the bigger universities, more than likely you're in a class that more than 25 people. You will not have that interaction with your professor. More than likely, you'll have a teacher's assistant that you'll be interacting with more than your professor. Tip number 4: look for extracurricular activities. That is important. You can't just study, study, study. You have to work hard. I say my motto was work hard, play hard. I did my study. I studied. When it was time to study, I studied, did that time management, but also when I could party, I would party. And so you need that balance. Everybody needs a balance. Everybody needs a stress reliever. And college is a good stress reliever, especially if you go to I went to a historically black colleges for all 3 of my degrees. And that was a good stress reliever. We had a football team, a basketball team, we had school orchestrated events, and then we had parties. We had Greek social clubs, and so that helps break the monotony of just study, 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 and it brought down the stress level of college, and I was able to succeed and excel in my classes. So that's very important. Even sports, I acknowledge you. I suggest to you, if you're a person that plays sports in high school, play sports in college. And people don't know, this is a little known secret. People don't know, outside from football and basketball and track, there's other things you can play that you will get money for. Volleyball, baseball, swimming, golf, band, cheerleading, even, yeah, cheerleading, yes. Even if you're on a chess team, any of those things that you were in high school, check and see if they have a debate team. Check and see if they have that at your college, because you can get some money towards your college tuition. It might not be that much, but you can get at least $500 towards your tuition for joining one of those those sports groups or teams. People will sleep on that, but that will help with your tuition tremendously. So in picking a college, number 4, see what extracurricular activities they have. They have other things going on, in the community. So when I went to my second college, actually, this is where I got my degree from. I started at Kentucky State. However, I transferred and finished at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. One of the things I liked about it, and I'll be honest, I actually wanted to go to FAMU. However, Bethune-Cookman, because my grades, gave me a partial scholarship. So that's why I ended up going to Bethune-Cookman. However, Bethune-Cookman had extracurricular activities. So we had football in the fall. We have one of the best football teams. We have one of the best bands. And so football season, I went to every football game. We had fun. They had school-related parties, school-related pep rallies. And then my school was by the beach. And so our school was exactly 2 miles away from the ocean, so they would have beach parties on beach side, and so it was a nice activity. And outside of that, Daytona is nicely placed, where you're an hour and a half from Jacksonville, Florida, and then you were about 35 minutes from Orlando. Orlando is one of the number 1 family resorts in the nation. And then we're about 4 hours from Miami. And so we were essentially located where if we didn't want to stay, and my friends, if we didn't want to stay in town, especially during the spring, we didn't have too much going on, because football season was one of the best seasons to be in. Basketball, we did basketball stuff, but football was the hype. And so during the off season, which was basketball season, we would leave and we'd go to Orlando or Miami and have fun. And so that was one of my things that I liked about Bethune-Cookman University, that some of the extracurricular activities, they had other things that you could do besides just on the college campus. Now, another thing about picking a college, you want to see that they have a good support service, good student support services. What do I mean by that? That they offer tutoring, if you need counseling, whatever you need that help with student support, whether it's dorm life, whereas academia, that they had a great student support staff that actually helped the students, and realized that part of the students having support would help excel them in their higher education involvement. Also, check to see whatever college that you pick, and this is what I should have did before I went to college. And back about 20 years ago, it really wasn't popular then like it is now. Check to see if that college that you want to go to has a summer program. A lot of the colleges now offer a summer program to potential um, freshman candidates, where they can get a taste for about 6 weeks. They can get a taste of college life. Get a taste of, you get a mentor, you go to classes, they may take you to like one or two parties. You get a real great feel of college life, and you get a feel whether or not that college fits what you need as a student. And it also helps parents to be comfortable in the college choices that your child makes, because college education, the choices to pick the college, should be a family decision. It's mostly on what you want to do. However, if you have a supportive family, you should get your family involved, because some family, they know some things. Like I had cousins that were in college, had been in college a year and a half before I did. So some of the colleges I picked, one of my cousins, he was on a football team at one of the other black universities, and he flat out told my parents, was like, she doesn't need to go to that school. Actually, well, no, he went to LSU. That's right. I'm sorry. He went to LSU, but the school LSU was close to Southern University, and so he had a lot of friends, football player friends that went to Southern, and so that was the Southern University in Baton Rouge was on my list, and my parents was like, he told my parents, you want our brother to do well, she doesn't need to come down here and go to Southern University. You want her to stay in her books, and I'm glad I didn't go, because Southern University wasn't the best school for me to go to, especially when I was thinking about the degree or the occupation I wanted. Again, they're not known for sciences at that time, or preparing students to go to medical school. So that was a great decision. And then lastly, you want to see if your college or university has an advancement beyond a bachelor's degree, or advancement, if you're going to community college, advancement beyond a associate's degree. For example, the community colleges I've taught at in the past 8 years had bridge programs where you took your general studies courses like English, algebra, your histories, your humanities. You took that at the community college, then it transferred to a university, and that university accepted all of those credits, so you wouldn't lose out any credits, you wouldn't have to take anything extra. You just go into your junior year of college just as if you started at that college or university as a freshman. And so you want to see if they have bridge programs, and some of the universities you pick, see if they have advancement programs. Bethune-Cookman University, at the time, they had one advancement program, and that was in the College of Business, where you can get a master's degree, an MBA, or a master's in hospitality management. And so I had classmates that got their bachelor's degree and decided to stay at Bethune-Cookman to get their master's degree in hospitality management. So you always want to look at if those schools have advancement higher than bachelor's degrees, because I'm going to tell you, some occupations, in order for you to make, if you're looking at dollars and cents, in order for you to make the big bucks, you're going to have to get beyond a 4-year degree. You're going to have to get a master's or a doctorate. Some degrees are like that, and that's why you should look at your career and make sure what you want to do. But those are your 6 tips that I have for you on how to pick a college. I was so happy to help you, because now you are above the rest. because you know this going into your junior, senior high school, what to look for to pick a college. So I'm glad that I was able to share with you today. Leave your positive comments. And I want to tell you, I pray for good fortune in everything that you do and for your good health, that your everyday affairs prosperous as well as your soul. By the way, if you want to talk to me more, email me at workwithdr.aj at gmail.com. Bye-bye.